You might have seen. So I'm live streaming to Twitter and to YouTube because, like Steve, geniuses, speakers, Immersion, Web3 Grandpapa, Sheila, Mr. G, Peter, Hector, Heartthrob, and Steve. Listen here, Pat. Like this is alpha. So if you go to your screen, because I'm doing something live, I'm doing a live right. This was already playing, Steve. So when you came in, I'm like, really? This is how the lines connect, and it just goes. So what you're seeing on your screen, really quick, this is from LinkedIn, right? And so why I went here on LinkedIn is because I needed to understand AI, artificial intelligence, and kind of look at where the spread is. And this is really a case for blockchain. And I got this from Dr. Marta. So Dr. Marta, I'm presenting your stuff today, right? And so I want you to see on your screen, you'll notice that you have unsustainable development goals, you have zero waste, you have environmental impact on consumption, you have renewable energy, and you have climate change. But I want us to really go back over to this climate change for a second, because I think there's some social climate change inside of there. And I want us to go through this. So this is blockchain for sustainability. So when we were talking through retirement, when we were talking through financial acumen, when we were talking about where is artificial intelligence going to lead us and what are you going to do with some of that time, right? So again, this is not my presentation. This is someone else's on LinkedIn. Dr. Marta shared this. I went in on it. So here you'll notice, and this is available. I'm sharing this so you can grab it off my LinkedIn as well. But there's this table, but I want us to look at blockchain and sustainability from a social as we age, right? As we age, and we look at sustainability. And this is what drew my attention, is this here. So we look at blockchain and how it's going to help us achieve sustainable goals here in the future, right? One, blockchain can help end poverty, right? It can zero hunger, right? It could help health and wellness. So I thought, wait a minute, hold on, patient care. Hold on, I'm going right here and I'm stopping right here because I feel like there's a use case for sustainability based on a genius room for health and wellness. Hold on, let me go here. Because I feel like if we socialize and interact and get my heart health, okay, wait a minute, y'all, I'm going through this, right? And then affordable and non-pollutant energy. We have decent work and economic growth. We have responsible production and consumption. We have climate action, and we have peace, justice, and solid institutions. So I really feel like this is a foundation that we can build upon for sustainability. Okay, I'm quiet now. I'm gonna go. I'm sorry because there's hands, but I want to go over to Hector. Hector. Hector.
Yes, it's a very interesting conversation. At least for me, personally, retirement is on my mind, of course. But what I'm also factoring in is, what does retirement look like for me 30 years down the road, right? And what retirement might look like for me might be different than those that are considering retiring now. Particularly in just the thought of how AI is going to play a role, right? And how I anticipate that, retirement, God willing, would be much easier for me if we integrate these technologies and live in a, euphoric kind of, civilization, right? Where the technologies are now playing a role on every day and it's improving our everyday. So it's always in the back of my mind, but I do find it fascinating how technology and retirement are going to go hand in hand. And so my mind races and thinks about, what does retirement look like for me, right? Am I going to be, in a world where, the AIs and let's say robotics handle a lot of, the things that we need done on a day-to-day basis. So, retirement is definitely very interesting for me, the thought of retirement. And but I look at maybe retirement differently because I feel, 30 years from now, it's, likely going to be, a very different world. Just like what Steve was saying, it's, I anticipate it's going to be more like Star Trek than Terminator, right? So, and just the thought of that, how that's going to look like, right? What can I anticipate? that's exciting. It's exciting for me. I don't see myself retiring, right? I always feel that I'm going to be doing something, maybe not working as hard, but I do, I can see a future where, the little minuscule tasks that would, take me, take time out of my day, I might be able to dedicate that towards things that I'm passionate about, maybe, explore different things and, and also the role of quantum computing, right? How that's going to play into, the future and what that's going to look like. I mean, it's exciting, I always try to look at things from a positive standpoint. I do believe that, the AIs and the robotics are going to make our lives easier. And so that could, afford me maybe, more time to dedicate to things that I'm passionate about. But yeah, it's evolving, right? It's exciting. And, I really enjoy hearing everyone's perspective on it.
That's your retirement right there, Hector. The passion part. See, retirement is defined by what you want to do after you finish that full-time job. And like anything else, a little bit of cash flow helps. The lifestyle and the passion you put together is what's going to make it happen for you. Sorry. Thank you, Hector. Yaeunda?
I'm just going on. I hate to stand on this nerve here, y'all, but listen here. This has been an alarm bell for me since I was age 45. And I was like, because I can talk to my mom. She's retired, but I'm like, my mom and I did different types of jobs. My mom did blue collar. I did more corporate, and I like that corporate life a little bit. So, mommy, you can't really talk to me. So I called my sister, who is 5 years younger than I. I'm like, Sissy, okay, listen, because on Sundays we do our business, our family planning. We bring kids in, we talk through what's going on, but we haven't added this for some reason, right? And so I was talking to her, I'm like, Sissy, who you talking to about retirement? Because that's literally, I started panicking around your age. Like, oh my God, they told me Social Security not gonna be around here. Oh my God, my fund says 2040 is when they project it. I'm supposed to retire. Because I asked the question, where y'all putting my money? In a fund for 2040. So y'all telling me when I'm supposed to retire. What's in that fund? Don't start me on that one. So panic. So ding, 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 ding. I don't know if y'all hear it, but that's what I'm. We don't. We don't. So Web3 Grandpapa, come on in, and then we're going to Hard Throb Immersion, and then we're going back to our friend Steve, because we're activated, y'all. Literally, we moving with purpose, passion with purpose. Okay, go ahead, Web3 Grandpapa.
Passion with purpose is like a plan to make good morning or good afternoon, everyone. It's an interesting conversation. I have no plans for retiring. That's a dirty word. I would say transitioning into a different lifestyle, transitioning into a different level of work that's more suited to my age and physical capabilities. And as long as my brain is sharp and I can go fishing, I ain't giving up being independent and working and finding a new way of making an income, which I'm busy doing now. Do you know what I mean? And I'm a bit of a prepper, Peg. I'm a bit of a prepper.
Yes.
We've got like 40 kilos drums of dry rice and shit in the shed. I'm a prepper. And in the bush, I know where some good, clean, natural springs that come up from the earth of clean water are, some good caves. We've got well-preserved heirloom seeds. Things go wrong for growing stuff. And, so I'm a bit of a prepper there. definition of the future of technology. Now that got massive traffic, and so did the FOMO of bullies of technology, right? A comprehensive approach to understanding and overcoming them, and working a couple of different stories like that, and navigating the challenges of a decentralized future. So pretty much what you guys are talking about a little bit, I did a couple of articles on that, and like within minutes, they were both getting significant organic traffic from search engines. So that goes along with pretty much what you guys were talking about earlier as well. This is decentralized space, the future, AI. I think AI is more about task-orientated than job replacement in a way. I think it's really going to be a task thing. Jobs will still be there, but they'll specialize in tasks more than anything. You know, if I had an AI that could do half of what I do now, I'd double my workload. Because I'd be able to significantly increase my output because I'd have the time. But I'm a little bit of a control freak and I like manual things, so I'd probably want to go back and check its work anyway. You know, if I had a check down, I'd probably want to check that. You know, you still see so many errors. But I think several people I know around my age, and most of my friends are in that 55 to 70-year-old range, most of them are not looking at retiring and doing nothing. Like, you might retire from your main physical job that you've done, but most people I know are not retiring from life. And, you know, there's half a dozen things in this space that I'm getting involved in that I love. I've probably got a list of 30 years of learning of what I know is available now that I'm keen to do, let alone what's going to be available tomorrow, you know, that I haven't even heard of. When I was 30, you knew what you could get for Christmas because it was the same stuff. When I was 40, you could say, I'm going to get this for Christmas next year. I know what I'm going to get. You know what? It's July. What I get for Christmas might not be invented yet. That's how quick the world is changing now. You know, something could come up in a month's time and be available before the end of the year. So it's just such a different world. And I find it exciting, and I try and explain to all the people, you know, my age, Peg's age, all that sort of, you know, the people around 60 plus, that it's an exciting time. It's not to be feared, it's to be embraced, because it's going to give us an opportunity to keep our brains flexible, keep working, you know, like developing new skills and understandings and meeting new people and, you know, building infrastructure and being part of an exciting future. Where 20 years ago, 15 years ago, you weren't looked at, or those opportunities to be part of an exciting new future there. All you need to do is have a flexible brain, be willing to learn, have fun, and I think the future is larger, bolder, freer, and more open for a vast majority of people than something that's closed off. But I'd just like to say good morning, everyone, and the panel, and great conversation.
Woo! Good morning. Clinker, clanker, clinker, clanker. Like, there's so much going on. Like, and I appreciate what you just said, Oscar. There's always two sides of the coin, right? You all, and what we're talking about is how you view when you stop working your main gig and you start to go into your passion gig, or can your passion be your gig now, right? And so what's holding you back, but also what vehicle are you going to forecast so that you secure your future, so you have housing. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. Wait a minute, before we do though, in great conversations, we got hands, this is good. I wanted us to go back to our screen for a moment, because listen, I'm trying to tell you this, Dr. Marta and this Rejolt.com, they put together this really good report, you all. So ways blockchain can be an environment game changer. So there's 8 of them, right? So I want us to think about this for a second. Great conversation, keep going. right? So one is see-through supply chains, right? Then decentralized and sustainable resource management. What? Wait a minute, resource management. Pay attention, y'all. Pay attention. We're resources and we're sustainable, okay? Raising the trillions, new source of sustainable finance. Okay, Mr. G, Peter, Web3. Yep, we got some money finance for incentivizing circular economies. Stay for a second. Wait a minute. Now, what does this mean? By motivating people and organizations to see the financial value in items that are now wasted, discarded, or viewed as economically that word invaluable, I believe, if I can see that on my screen. Blockchains has the potential to profoundly alter how materials and natural resources are valued, used, and exchanged. This could lead to general change in behavior and aid in realizing a completely circular economy, for instance. What's a circular economy for? We really have to unpack that one. Wait a minute, I want to go through these. These are the game changers, transforming carbon and or markets, and then next gen sustainability, monitoring, reporting, verification, and then disaster preparedness and humanitarian relief, right? Wow, thank you for that. So I'm gonna be quiet for a moment, and I want to say who we got hands. So let's head to Heartthrob, and then Emergent, and then we're head over to Steve.
Oh, I was gonna touch back on what Peg was saying. You know, like my grandma, she fought cancer for over 20 years, lived to be almost 90 years old, and she came out of retirement twice because, you know, her complaint and her argument was, oh, it just gets so boring sitting at home. So she got involved with the VFW, the Lions and Lioness Club, and volunteered around the community. Like, she was a big community supporter. And back to what Steve was saying with the information, I think that I agree with you on that, because I mean, right now anything you do on the internet stays there forever and can be held against you in the court of law. So there will be changes coming, especially with all these AI tools coming out. I'm definitely excited to see you here this morning, Steve. Welcome to the Genius Room.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Emergent.
All right, so I took several little interventional vacations. I guess you could recognize this last 8 months as taking a lot of time off to hang out with you guys. So that's an early vacation, early retirement. I highly recommend them. And in a way, we need to focus on the game that's already been played and just line it up for the next batters, because your children are your real, you know, how you take care of your children, whether your children are around to just hang out or can't afford to. You know, you got to really look at what are you setting up for their lasting success, because if they don't have that opportunity to outgrow way beyond where we are at, you know, what's going to counteract this inflation, you know? And we got to really get them motivated. Oh, shoot, there was something else. So many things transpired in the last few minutes. Let me sit on that for a minute.
Yeah, it was fast. You had to catch it. We're going to head over to Steve. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, sometimes having a notebook nearby helps. So I wanted to say that, yeah, I mean, you know, the definition of words, like, you know, you got to understand that we were coming out of the industrial age of the boomers, working for GE for 50 years and retiring, getting the watch and all of that. And that word retirement fit a specific construct. And I think we're changing the vocabulary because things are changing. People are not willing anymore to compromise, and they're just voting with their feet and sitting out of the labor force if the opportunities don't align with their values. And what is really retirement, anyways? I think people kind of mentioned it here. It's choices. That's what it is. We believe that when we retire, we have
more choices, which is control of our time. But the reality is if you can control your burn rate, right, your standard of living, you will reach the ability to have more choices earlier in life if you're able to do that. It is really sad. There are people who don't know when enough is enough, and it becomes an impairment for me to be friends with them because they don't have time. Because that beautiful boat that you have needs to be polished. It needs to be dropped off to be fixed. It needs to be winterized, and stuff gets in the way of what the true meaning of happiness, which is deep, meaningful relationships and great experiences with those people. And so rent experiences, don't own possessions, and focus on people, which is that whole thing that everybody's been talking about here with community and stuff like that. And so to whatever extent you can, and I definitely know people are wired this way here in this space, is investing in others and helping them skill stack. So if you're in your 40s, help people that are in their 30s and 20s skill stack. And if you're in your 50s and 60s, it just scales all the way up. And with that in mind, I want to just basically say this because I truly, truly mean it. I want everybody in this space to know this. You matter. You do make a difference. And if even nobody's told you today, and I'm the only one, I want you to know I appreciate you.
That's awesome, Steve. Thank you so much. We're going to the hands, and this is, we're enjoying this conversation because it's giving us perspective. I'm gonna point y'all to the screen one more time. I'm like, y'all, like what? I'm teaching today, y'all. We having a good time, so thank y'all. So on the screen today, like I have this again, Rejolit.com did a really good job of this. I pulled this off of LinkedIn. I read so many dang on newspapers a day. I'm just like, woohoo, but I take it in and download it. So how to use blockchain for social impact, right? So, and this is their perspective, right? And you may have your own perspective on it, but this starts to kind of rattle our cages a little bit on perspective. Saving lives with blockchain as an anti-counterfeiting technology. So my mom is retired. My mom is like, okay, she goes to the gym, she takes a nap, and her life is pretty regulated with TV, the gym, and then she might do one social activity throughout the day. So I think through those things. Increasing consumer safety. So by increasing supply chain transparency and protecting products. Tracking assets to prevent theft, B2B, logistics, supply chain, consumers. And building a social engagement platform to find help when you need it. And that's where we are. Welcome to the Genius Room. And that's what that application is at the top. We are that resource. When you need help, where to find it, here in blockchain, Web3, Metaverse, AI, data analytics, cryptocurrency. We as geniuses, iron sharpening iron, we've been practicing together. We've been vibing together for over a year to create this. So as coaches, as mentors, and as business partners, that social engagement platforms, the Antarius, is going to allow for us to be that repository where people will come in and they will, I don't know how many hours you have to dedicate to the Genius Room, but certainly we will talk through all of the specifics this Sunday. So I want to go over to Sheila, and then head over to Immersion.
Such great information was coming out so fast. My head is spinning like I wanted a couple of keywords that I heard, and I'm not sure if it was Steve or Grandpapa, but somebody said transitioning, and that's, after I started hearing everybody's input about, retiring and different things like that. I'm an etymology queen, so I went and looked up the etymology of the word retire so I could get a better understanding of what initially the word meant, and kind of transition the understanding to what it means for me now, because we do have to take a redefining of words, because everything was defined for us in different ages than we are currently existing. And so this is a transitional period that we are having. And a lot of my corporate experiences is working for companies and going in and helping them transition from one system to the next. And one of the major things that was always an issue was, so like even my most recent tenure with Hilton Corporate, I worked in the legal development department, and everybody in that department was 67 years old or better. And here I come at 40 years old, and I'm responsible for, helping them transition from one system to the next. And I'm telling you, it was like pulling teeth, because nobody wanted anything to change until it was time for them to retire. A lot of them had I don't want to learn anything new. I just want to finish my time. Don't change anything. And so I had to self-direct myself in a manner of which to bridge the gap to get the job done that needed to be done, and appease the people who had a wealth of knowledge that I couldn't deny. It's just that they were using old systems and old platforms in order to get that done. So there was nothing there besides my own self-directing to really transition that. And as I see this, even with now retirement, right? What's the transition? We're all business owners, and if you're going to have business relationships, just as important as it is to keep engagement, as we talked about yesterday, and business retention, it is also now, I'm seeing, just as important to have the transition for the business disconnection. When it's time to say goodbye, how do you do that? How do you do it without just closing the door and say, okay, thank you, goodbye? I see a lot of people's retirement is that, and that brings the anxiety of what happens next. Did you care enough about our business connection to consider, where do I go from here, or where do we go from here, or how we disconnect? I often have this saying, or I had this saying when I was back in my dating days. I was like, I always have beautiful connects and beautiful disconnects. Regardless of what happened in between, I make the connection beautiful and the disconnection beautiful. So this transitional period that we're in, there's a business opportunity just for these kinds of transitions. And I even see it as a part of being from like the Tropyverse or something of the like, because there's always transitioning going on, no matter what stage it's in. Retirement age for everybody is going to be the choice that they decide to do it. Because my children already told me at 30. But retirement doesn't mean what it did for back then. Retirement means focusing in on you. Right? It's like we have to do this pendulum swing of inside of us, outside of us. What's inside of us, what's outside of us. So when you're working a job in this business, you are really managing what's on the outside of you. And so you're working that aspect of yourself, because that's still you. But when you retire from that, you are re-employing yourself to something else. So it's the let go and the grab thing. You replace something or you buy something new, you got to get rid of something. So it's those kind of dynamics that are happening at an exponential rate now. I mean, I'm transitioning from clothes that I wear, shoes that I wear because of global warming. I'm transitioning from the foods that I eat because of genetically modified foods. Like, we're transitioning from vegan to pescatarian depending on the season, because all of the availability of information that's here and the governance that AI is allowing us to have. Like, I have a watch that tells my blood pressure and tells me how fast my heart rate is going. I use the bathroom and the toilet that tells me my freaking pH. So I'll know what to use, what to eat for my body and what not to eat. So we're always in the position of transitioning. So I just put this out there as a call to action for us as the geniuses. How can we leverage that information as business opportunities, or for us to use that as coaching, something that we offer that other geniuses are not considering. But we have these conversations that allows us to have these considerings for transitional lifestyles. A consistency of transitional lifestyles, consistency of transitional decisions. What does that mean? What does that look like? How can we capitalize off of that? And how can we actually use that to determine or to show people that all these decisions and options we offer can give people more optimal lives and help them resist the anxiety that comes along with the future shock. I'm going to read that book because that's right up my lane, and I'm going to land there, guys.
That's amazing. Huh?
You hear that?
I do. It's absolutely amazing.
I know.
And you know, you bring such a valid, you all, this is opportunity. I hope everybody's antennas is like whoop, 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 whoop. And Grandpapa, you said something earlier, like I'm retirement, and then the words, right? And reconsider what that is. But then I want to take y'all to the corporate veil that says reduction in force. They call it the RIFs, right? And they're saying, guess what? Your services are no longer needed, right? In those RIFs. And here's your package. It's been nice knowing you. Okay. So those really do happen. Okay. And unfortunately, I've been on the end of having to do reduction in force, reducing a certain percentage of my workforce. So you may not want to go, but it's in the best interest for the business that you have to exit. Ooh, y'all like, Yaeunda, you can't talk to us. I can. So, and this is it. So as we're talking about our independence, right? Or we're talking about the power of the genius room here. Like I just add that whole arm to any company in the world, right? What the genius is, y'all on top of your stuff, y'all some of the best 1%ers in the world, right? That can keep companies like, and that's how I think, right? In my head, I'm like, these are the 1%ers right here. They like on top of it. They can build anything. They got a solution or an answer. Y'all not even think about half of this stuff that the genius room is just putting in place. Boom. And I know that because, you know, I'm looking at what's happening in the corporate retail and the institutional investor area. So I want to point you back to your screen again before we go to the hands, because Sheila, you dropped them nuggets and fire. And which is fire is a good thing. I love, whew, my goodness. I'm a Sagittarius, by the way. Whew. So looking here, supply chain transparency. So the use case of applications in blockchain for social sustainability, right? So when I think through like all of this, right, and why this is really a good, you know, article to look at, you start to think about supply chain transparency. Where's it coming from to where is it going to? In the past, we've used RFID to be able to track, and you might see more RFID. And so you might see it in the tagging, right? So the source all the way to guarantee. And it might make it all the way through to the consumer, right? Just depending on tracking. Decentralized energy, identity management, charitable giving. If people are donating, make sure the money gets to exactly where it's supposed to go, right? Voting. So Steve said something earlier about, because I took this note down, Steve, by the way, when you said the Bill of Rights for your metadata. I was like, oh, did he say that? Yes, he said that. And I captured that note for a second. But then it's voting. So voting, blockchain can provide a safe and transparent voting system. Look at land ownership. Uh-oh, who are we? Uh-oh, who are we? So I was like, okay, what can we do with land ownership? A decentralized system of land ownership can be established using blockchain, which can aid in minimizing property conflicts and advancing the rights of marginalized communities to their land. Wait a minute. I'm just going to say, maybe this is a little bit about what Immersion was kind of talking about a little bit, but I don't know yet. And then the microfinance, Mr. G. Okay, blockchain can be used to build a decentralized microfinance system that allows those who don't have access to traditional banking services to access credit and financial services, Peter. Okay.
We can help them with it.
Oh. Okay. So tying this into who we are and what we have to offer as Tropyverse, right? So again, I'm not going to go through all this presentation. It's here, and I have it. I'm going to post this on my LinkedIn so that you can pull it from there as well. But you see these registries. I think Steven said something about that earlier. Regulations, the sky's the limit. So this gives you some ideas to think about what can be done. I want to go over to Immersion.
All right, so with AI tools, able to hear dog whistles and be able to decode anything that we send through CBs and stuff to receivers and blah, blah, blah. Now we got, with the AI ability to hear beyond us and decipher the frequencies, you know, so the new thing is for Christmas, Web Grandpa Paul, is AI listeners. You know, you get to scan this frequency. People will be sending free NFTs through the frequency because it'll be easier to send it than it will be to receive it. But it's still the same thing that fit under your dash in the 70s, you know.
Yeah, I have some videos on my LinkedIn that shows the radio frequency, literally in AI integration. I'm sorry. Who was asking something?
I was just saying that, yeah, the AI can decode everything down to your music if it's set up to on the same code, you know. You can program the code. Anyhow, yeah, it's way doable.
It is. And so we're about to start our wind down because this has been a fantastic conversation and there's many doors open and I do apologize. I try to shut the doors, but guess what? It's so good. That just means that we have to have a continuation of this conversation because it's necessary. So that we can continue to just kind of look at the supporting as we're moving into the Genius Room. We're going behind closed doors and Zentorius. And part of it is just we're continuing to build. We're the Genius Room. So guess what? Businesses, corporations, Fortune 1000, Global 2000. If you want to leverage the skill sets of the geniuses in the room, right? And you want the geniuses to come on site and do some work with you, we can do that, right? And we can help you with that whole digital transformation plan because we have a one-stop shop solution inside the Genius Room, right? And if you haven't experienced the Genius Room and oh my gosh, how we provide solutions, we're agile. Most companies wish to have agile where they're able to say, look at this product. I have a company saying right now, take a look at this product down there and tell us what this, okay, no problem. But let's multiply that because the geniuses, if I put this product on the geniuses lens, we're going to unpack all that and put it together back in a nice bow, right? And part of that is the life cycle of from the client all the way to what that to the customer interface looks like and experience. So I really believe in what we have here is so beautiful, you all. It's so unique, you all. I'm constantly getting folks that says, hey, you need to have me on your show. I'm like, well, the geniuses are here, right? So why do we need you? Like, okay, you want to be a genius on the show? Come on. Come on. You see how geniuses come. So, yes.
Can you hear me okay?
Perfect. Can you hear me?
You're awesome. Who can't hear you? Thank you, Yaeunda. What I wanted to find out was, how would you label this? Would you go digital, or would you say crypto? Like it's kind of for a person like myself, not really understanding the full wave of technology, you kind of get confused between digital and cryptocurrency and retirement. You know, like you understand AI, but how do we relate to this?
How do you relate to?
Like, okay, would it be defined as a digital change that's coming that's going to affect our lifestyle, or would you say it's the changing atmosphere of finance because of cryptocurrency, or would you say everything is going to be under the AI umbrella, meaning that is AI going to play the role of how digital happens and how cryptocurrency happens? So it will dictate how we monetize anything to help us offset the cost of our retirement, for everyone. Because as you get older, you still need cash flow. I don't think they're going to call it cash flow anymore. I don't think it's going to change. But you still need an income because the cost of life doesn't stop. So what I'm trying to get at is what's the label going to be? Is it the digital retirement, the crypto retirement, or AI retirement? I know it's not important maybe now, but later on it's going to make a difference. Am I off beat?
No, and I think that is just so complex of a title. Like, I think it's just, where do you go first when you need help and solutions? I don't know. Like, it's that simple, right? The Genius Rooms has it. But this is like, do you have questions about your total life? Like, I don't know, because like when I came out of high school, my mom said, hey, here's your scholarship. You did well, kid. Here's college. All right, mom, come get me after the first week. I'm not coming to get you. So from that landscape, that trajectory of, how do you name that? So let me go over to Grandpapa and let me head back over to Immersion. Oscar?
Sorry, it was just a lag there. But look, I think that's a great conversation in itself. I think the last couple of years has changed the dynamics with small business and medium-sized business and corporations. And this sort of like a reset. And I would say more individuals are now going to be working more for what makes them happy. I know definitely my generation, we worked because we were obligated. And obligation is not a dirty word, nor is it a bad word. You marry, you have kids, you're obligated to provide for them. It doesn't mean you don't do the jobs you like, you take the jobs that you need to do to provide for your family, and if you're lucky enough to move forward or find something else and move into that transit, it's good. But we've moved forward to the era now. People are over in the industrialization education system and the industrialization workforce. People have grown, and I think the last couple of years have just brought that forward a generation. And I think that's part of the problem. The system, it's just come on a generation earlier than what a lot of people thought it would. And more people are just putting their foot down and doing that. I don't like that. I don't want to go do this anymore. Very rarely did people not work because they didn't like the job or they didn't like the hours. You got a job, you did the shit stuff until you could find something better. I don't do that, I'm not working, I can't do this. And now I've noticed a trend that money doesn't seem to be the biggest motivator for a lot of people in the workforce nowadays. It is the benefit and the care that the workplace provides for them. Do we have a nice deck chairs in our staff room? Do we have free Wi-Fi at lunchtime? Is there a washing machine and a dryer there? Is there a nice TV? Is there an internet service? Is there, what services or benefits are you giving for me to be a loyal worker? Loyalty was about you felt you owed or obligated to your boss to stay in your job. And they would lord that over you in a way like, I've given you a job, your opportunity, you're being able to buy that house, that car, because I'm providing you the opportunity to work. And now it seems to be is on a lot of small to medium-sized businesses, hey, unless I have full Wi-Fi service and redemption for my parking and a bit of longer lunch or some other sort of service provided to me, I'm not even going to consider working for you. You know, what is the extra benefit? And that's where it seems, that trend seems to be going, that I can tell. So you got corporate, and then you got that medium and smaller businesses down below, and the workers are going, hang on, we now want to be looked after. Make me feel special to be happy to work with you. And you're lucky that I want to work with you. And my loyalty stems to the benefits that I get, not to the business. That's just a notice that I feel that's happening.
I remember in 2006, Oscar, when I was here, when I had to sit and I understood that social media was coming on, right? And I needed to understand the impact of social media and what did it mean, specifically around like understanding the boards that were coming. LinkedIn was coming on, job boards were coming in, some other, and understanding influence scores, right? And understanding Lion scores and starting to get listed as, and this has been going on for a long time, understanding that and being told back in that time that you all, it's going to come down to the progression of the transition of the modern day worker, right? And we saw the transitions happening, but one is the cause, right? So we were encouraged to be a cause. So you have to have some type of social justice or something, some type of environmental, something that you do good, that good works, right? Philanthropic works, social works, those type of things, right? So we were told back then, right? So now that's a definite arm that has to be positioned in any project, in any company, is what are you doing to give back to them, right? So what I'm watching take place, to your point, Oscar, is I'm watching platforms, communities are very big. So people are creating their own ecosystems in their own communities right now. Community over here, a community over here, a community over here. And so that's part of being able to kind of engage with that. But again, right now you got to give me the experience now. So it's one thing to belong, but what is it like? So are you going to give me this augmented reality? And I talk about this augmented reality because I can see the Genius Room downloading all the members. Guess what, y'all? Starbucks, for the next 5 hours, there's a message at Starbucks for you all. When you go in, check the brick wall. Y'all looking at the brick wall, there's nothing on the brick wall. Oh yeah, there's something on the brick wall. In the Genius Room, in collaboration with Starbucks, made that happen. Boom. And so now you have your free cup, your free Danish, and those type of things, right? Oh my gosh, you just create, and by the way, you now have that in your wallet, and you didn't even know that you had a wallet. That's right. We've created that wallet for you. So what I'm watching is platforms are trying to, again, we're seeing this, they're trying to keep their audience on platform. They're creating experiences for their audience that is leveraging their artificial intelligence, their platforms. That's what they're doing. So there's a lot to bridging into Web3, but I love this conversation that's taking place. Emergent?
I started this philosophy thing called Neighborhoods Co-op Club. Basically, it was like I was going to give out and then I did the golden something. And I was going to sell raffle tickets, right? But apparently, there's certain regulations on raffle tickets. So that thesis has changed to door prizes. But anyhow, it was just like $5 or something a month, monthly $5, right? And then we'd do it by zip code, and then we'd go around and just see where there's like potential. Like, for instance, I didn't have a lake in front of my house, but I want to raise fish. What did I do? I had some water, so implemented it. There's 100 places downstream of me that little projects like I mean, I haven't made no money, but the dude poisoned my water. You got to understand. But when I get my seed fish in here and they grow again, which I've done about almost 10 years in a row growing fish, when I finally got all my whole system built, the neighbor dumped some crap in his yard and it washed down and killed all my fish. I guess I got to take papers out. You'd think the county would have done an investigation and just handled it for me, but apparently there's some kind of system. There aren't no systems that are retroactive, and like if everybody in the zip code put in $5 a month, then all of a sudden, boom, you got a big ass chunk of change the first month, right? So you take a allotted amount, like 40%, you go around and do a lottery of the properties, and you look for people that might just need whatever, a roof or whatever, you look for those participants first, and then you might just do another, but then you take the other 60 and you're supposed to invest it into some kind of bank. It would be a new term I've learned kind of aspect, and carry on with the next month. That one's sealed and delivered, if it's got a residual, the residual, earnings or what's paid out, and it just sits there and generates, right? That's the plan. But that's a kind of thing you need, Peter, is and spending the wealth that you got now in fundamental infrastructure and securities, housing being a good security, like Hector likes to point out quite a while. We got to figure out how to get these avenues of what is it called? From zero to equity. You got to get zero to equity, right? I mean, that's a term we could use, describe helping the homeless guys purchase something. And that monthly thing, boom, they can participate too. If they got residents set up, address, whatever, their backpack, their tent, I don't know.
It happened emergent. So it's like you're creating you're literally creating a co-op insurance.
Say what?
It's like creating a co-op insurance, but you're developing it as a social blanket.
Yeah, I really got all kinds of aspects to counteract insurance, and that's for sure part of it. Yeah.
Can I say something to what you were saying? And us, which is like really everybody in here. It's not to be argumentative or anything. It's just my opinion on things. One of the things you talk about homelessness. One of the biggest contributors to homelessness is the scarcity of the people that go to work and feel they have to do that because they do have to do that. It is a system created. That's the system created. It creates poverty. It creates poverty because why? Us as individuals, people that do go to work, they feel like, oh, if I go to work every day, I'm going to get ahead, and that's the system created. And it's sad. It's very, very sad. It's like, if you want to stop poverty, do no good work. No, we're already caught up in the system. The system is right here. So how do you even get past this kind of a system? It is such a hard thing in my life to do. I'm trying to do. How do you solve this? And it's just like there is no solving it. But that, in general, most people don't even get to see that part of the picture. And most people, they don't even know why they go to work to do something they don't want to do every day. They go to do that to get money so they can pay a bill. And they're taken away from the child.
Well, you were on the road, but what I'm showing you on the screen, thank you so much, Zan.